Welcome to the podcast. This episode will be recorded in English because my guest is apparently very famous in the international scene right now. She is in, I don't know any other words to call it, but it's basically her meta right now. She is on meta. One of my very good friends and one of the rising talents in the esports scene. Welcome to the show, Brigida. What's good?
Hello, Wolf. I just remembered we will be speaking in English the
Yes,
moment
sir.
you pressed record.
Yeah.
But it's such an honor to be here.
Wow.
Charot.
All right. No, it's my honor. I think we can say charot. How do we explain charot to our international viewers?
It's like
Because I think we're gonna be saying that many times today.
yeah, it's like another way of saying just kidding, but with like more sass.
More sass, I guess. Yeah, I like that. All right. So, Brigida is one of the. Yeah, Are you the newest? No, you're not. The newest one is
In MPL,
Ingan.
Ingan Auntie, their batch.
Oh yeah, because she got promoted earlier than Ingan.
No.
Because you know what? Here's the story, guys. All right. So she was once part of the caster search. Then after the caster search, she got into MDL. She won back to back MDL caster of the season, and MDL was like, we can't giving the same award to the same person, right? So let's just promote this girl so that there's some other people will be given a chance to win.
No. And
That's
then
the
my
story,
mistake
right?
happened.
Is that the story? Oh,
No.
oh wow, we can really talk about that because this podcast is for us to get to know more about Briggs. And like I said, we are going to be speaking in English because there are a lot of international viewers and international fans. Which, by the way, I congratulate you because you've been one of the hot topics of M6. Yeah, people were talking a lot about you, so I wonder how you felt about that. Like, yeah. Talk to me through what you felt during your M6 performance, because I think it's probably one of your career milestones, right?
Yeah, it is. I think whenever someone asks me about my experience in M6, the first thing that comes to mind was the day before my first cast, because I was one of the casters assigned for day one of the stage. I was casting
Yeah.
alongside Mirko, right?
Yeah,
For all 8 best of ones, which happened on that day. So that was my first
that's right.
English cast specifically on desk, because I was doing English broadcast in MPL season 14, but I was just on the panel, so I was never on the desk.
You were never casting.
I was never
because
casting.
wait, you never. Wait, you never casted in season 14? Like not even one game, right?
No,
Because that's a format. But yeah, it's a topic for another day for sure. So you must be scared.
I was. That's why it's the first thing that comes to mind, because
Yeah.
that day I just locked up myself in my hotel room, and then I cried for 7 times. I think it's a story I share because I'm over it. Anyways.
Wait, you cried before or after?
Yeah, the day before. I
Why?
cried 7 times. I just broke down. I was so nervous and pressured because there were so many things I'd have to think about, like having to study and familiar. It's not like any other day where you can just focus on like 4 teams, 6 teams max to study. It's
Yeah,
like
that's-
you have to have an idea and a great background about all teams immediately because you're casting all
Yeah.
games. And then Mirko's my co-caster, so like, yeah.
He's an idiot. That's just kidding. Okay. No, okay. I think you. You should have asked me. We could have solved it easily. Well, anyways,
No, you know,
we're over it. We're over it.
I told this one time when I was in the VY's podcast.
Yeah.
Coach Wolf is probably one of the persons I always feel pressured when I talk to. No, if you see the clip, I told them, if they asked me if there's one person where you probably feel pressured talking or casting with, who would it be? And then I immediately said, oh, it's probably Wolf, because he's the guy I really look up to. He's so smart in the
No,
game.
no.
Yeah, he's the best. Yeah.
Oh, dude. No, but we're all just clowns. Oh, but okay, yeah. That's amazing because I mean, obviously, feeling that during that day, it's not amazing. But after going through that, and now you've, I guess, gained a lot of support afterwards. So I think people were really looking out for you during M6. People were looking for you afterwards, and then you eventually got into SPS afterwards, or you're starting to get international gigs. That might, obviously, looking back, that's a intense experience, but you're through it, like I said, and that must feel, you must feel relieved a little bit. Yeah. What did you learn? What like okay, before that's a bad question actually. Let's start with what was the specific part that made you want to cry during that preparation? All right. So was it the fact that you feel like you're not prepared, or was it because you thought that you might say something bad or you might make a mistake?
I think it's a mix of both and everything else that came into mind, because like I wouldn't want to say that I wasn't prepared, because that'd be something off. Because I did prepare, like
I'm pretty sure you are well prepared, honestly.
but like I can't help but think in one way or another, this is still some sort of trial by fire for me.
Yeah.
Since I did mention I had no experience casting on desk, and I was jumping between the Filipino and the English broadcast the season before,
Yeah.
and like I didn't even know, or up to now, I don't know what my strengths are in terms of roles and all that. And the pressure just kept adding on, considering that I will be working with everyone I just once used to listen to
Yeah.
and watch internationally and all that.
It's trippy, actually. It's a weird feeling when you eventually get to work with the people that you idolized before. That you never really imagine. And it's weird because you know that when you're a young caster, you dream a lot about stuff. You obviously pictured yourself casting together with your idols. I'm pretty sure that you thought about that. But then when the day comes, you realize, wait, I haven't been thinking about this in a long time, and now it happens, and now what am I doing again? So it's like doubts start to kick in. There's anxiety that's part of it. And it's part of the process. I'm just surprised that you had to like cry for 7 times, which is, I think, I've had my experience crying, and I feel like crying is a very, what's the term? Like it's not even like stressful. It's like it sucks so much energy out of you. It's tiring. Like physically, after crying a lot, you feel tired. And usually feeling tired before a broadcast is not a good thing. So,
well, it was the day before, so I had time to sleep, and
at
it
least
tired me enough. Yeah, so I got to sleep well the night before because it tired me so much.
I understand. Yeah, but well, yeah. So it was what triggered that the fact that you. What made you cry, basically?
Because like, it was a really huge opportunity for me, and it was some sort of break, I guess. And I just didn't want to mess it up because I've had history of
messing it up,
messing up very significant moments in my career and all that. So I kind of like started having doubts about whether or not I'm capable of doing this and that, or just not like. At least not messing up for me. So like,
I mean, from our perspective, all the viewers, and you were restreaming a lot, so I've been jumping back and forth in the Tagalog and the English broadcast, and I'm pretty sure you did a great job. People around me are saying that you also did a great job, so I think that's justified. And people, I think the viewers generally appreciated what you did for the broadcast. And the thing is, messing up and making mistakes, that will not stop
Mm.
anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think even the casters that I look up to from other titles, they also make mistakes. Like even like your sports NBA reporters, they also make mistakes eventually. It's not just it's not as big as the previous ones though, but yeah, making mistakes, messing it up, it happens. It will happen.
Yeah.
So you just have to be prepared for that. So I hope that the next time you get, fingers crossed, MSC and M6. I hope you, and M7. I mean, I hope you don't cry anymore.
Yeah. I think a close friend of yours or like someone within our community also has this mindset of the most enjoyable broadcasts are the ones where you aren't afraid to make mistakes. But that's like a different side, right? Because there are acceptable mistakes, I guess, but there are ones that come out of lack of preparation and all that.
You're right. Yeah.
Those are the ones that are probably unforgivable for a lot of people. But for those harmless mistakes, I guess. Yeah.
Like funny mistakes.
Yeah,
that
right.
happens. It will happen. Yeah, you're right. Like there's a difference between like messing it up and not being prepared, which is obviously at this stage that we are right now when it comes to our craft, it's not acceptable for us to not be prepared. Yeah. So how do you what's your preparation now? Like how do you prepare for a broadcast? Like how does that look like?
So, for example, on a regular MPL day, so we have this weekly meeting where I kind of get some general notes already, and then I have a Google Doc of like the specific matches I'm going to be assigned on for that week, wherein I put additional, I guess, notes and then stuff I can bring up, and which are supposedly in line with whichever role I'm going on that day, because I have to double check which role I'm going to be assigned on, and it's just. I think one of the biggest changes I've tried to do this season is consistency. It's like being more attentive or paying more attention to like everything that's happening, despite or regardless of whether or not I'm activated on that day and whatnot. So it's either I restream or if I just really want to focus on studying, I just watch. So apologies to all the people I said that I'll be restreaming, but I don't eventually. But it's for me, I just want to be more consistent.
That's interesting because I thought I had the idea like for the season for me to study the teams, I would study while restreaming, and I tried that for the first week. It does not work.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Like it's difficult to study a game like when we were streaming SPS and I was preparing some stuff for Onic. It helped that I was restreaming, so at least I have the idea to for what I will report. But eventually, I had to review everything anyways, because you need to spend more time for that, because restreaming and studying is a totally different thing. So, don't expect us to utilize the restreams to study.
Not unless or probably for me, I don't have a cast the following day or the following days, then I probably will.
Yeah.
But if I do, it's so hard.
Yeah, so difficult. All right, now, here's interesting with Briggs, and let's go back to her roots. So I remember that was probably 2021.
Yes.
So you did apply for the first talent search. That was in preparation for season 8. So that's like, if I'm not mistaken, that was season 7 of MPL.
8 or...
No, I mean like the
time where the caster search
happened.
Yeah, maybe
so it
7.
was season 7. Because I remember I wasn't able to go to the actual final stage.
But he was in the interview where I had my online.
That was funny. All right, so they were. I think we don't really know who we are assigned to. Like we don't get to pick or choose who we're assigned to interview. But Leo, I think he interviewed everyone, probably. But
Yes.
there's a couple of people who interviewed everyone. But me specifically, I don't get to pick or choose who I'm interviewing. And it just so happened that you were the only, like literally the only one to say that you wanted to be an analyst because well, it was super rare. And you did say that you want to be an analyst then,
I
right?
did.
You did, right? So it's just all right. So and then there was a little bit of interview that I think before I interviewed you, there was already a preliminary interview, and when I was reviewing your sheet, they were saying like this girl wants to be an analyst, the next analyst, or something like that.
I can't believe I did. Okay.
No, but you did, right?
Yes, I did.
Right. Well, it's a long time ago, 2021. And then there was the interview. You were,
Shy.
you obviously, yeah, you're very shy, but you can speak well. I think there's you look like there's a little bit of history, I guess. It looked as if you were a little bit experienced, and then that's when I found out that you were studying mass comm, right?
AB communications, yes.
Oh, is that different?
No, it's I think mass comm's a broader type. It's more of like broadcast and public
I see.
things. But communication can like be as specific as marketing, PR, and all that. Yeah.
Right. All right. So you did have experience with when it comes to like public speaking, so.
Well, we were just having our classes online at the time, but somehow, yes. Yeah.
That sucks. But what I do know is that I'm number one. I'm very surprised to know that there was a woman from Ateneo that wants to be an analyst for MLBB, which to me, that's not something that I would ever think of. Like, if you're an international viewer, and if you know Ateneo de Manila University is one of the big three. They say that they're part of the big three, right? As a Mapuan, I want to contest that because UP, LaSalle, and Ateneo saying that they're the big three. It's like,
Oh, so we're leaving out UST.
who's the big three? But because again, it was people. No, hey,
Okay.
people just declare they're the big three,
Yes,
right?
yes,
It's
they
not
just
like
do.
official.
It's
right?
not. It's not.
But I know that Mapua, where I came from, definitely is one of the
Big.
better schools out there.
Okay.
Obviously,
Okay.
I know. But anyways, okay. So Ateneo de Manila University is one. All right, it's considered to be one of the big three, which is one of the best colleges in the Philippines, and they're usually very. They are usually
How do you say this word in English? Let's just say konyo.
Konyo. All right,
Okay.
Konyo is like posh.
Posh. It's like you mix both Filipino and English, but you make it sound like more English than Filipino.
So it's like yeah. Basically, they're for lack of a better term, they're the bourgeois. They're like the rich. All right, so usually rich people, only the rich people go to Ateneo de Manila University. Usually. I've known if you're not part of a rich family and you get to Ateneo, it's either you are a scholar
I am.
you are a scholar. See, so she's smart. So
Oh.
why would a scholar from a top university be interested in being a shoutcaster for Mobile Legends? Back in 2021, shoutcasting, Mobile Legends, not esports in general, not something that you will tell your rich parents, like, Mom, I want to be a shoutcaster for Mobile Legends, let alone playing Mobile Legends for an Atenista or someone from Ateneo. Something that I never thought will happen. But then again, it was a time of the pandemic. Everybody, it was widespread. Everybody was playing it. So there were so many things that I found surprising during that caster search, specifically for Briggs. And then she wanted to be an analyst. I'm like, yo, all right. And she's actually good, but she's so scared. That's why she wasn't able to like
Yes.
flaunt her wings because she was so pressured. But one thing that that I'm surprised was you were one of the top players already in the Philippines back then. Or you were?
No, I was just a very dedicated
No, you had so
10
many.
p.m. onwards player.
So you had a lot of stars back then. Like
Yeah.
in-game star. Your MMR is actually pretty high. I think you're
No, my highest was back when it was just points. Like it was a
points.
-15 and a +5 era.
Yeah,
So
during that time.
I think I was just roughly 1-2 up. It wasn't that high.
That was.
It's 1,200 up stars. No, not stars. Points. I think at the time.
What's the equivalent of that? I can't remember anymore.
I think it's 100 plus stars. If
So that's
no,
honor. So that's
immortal.
immortal now. So you're practically immortal, and you maintained it, right? And then you were part of. Back then, were you already part of the collegiate team? Right. So, again, a woman in Ateneo, collegiate, wants to be a collegiate pro
Collegiate.
player.
Yeah,
player.
it's collegiate player. I think it's just
No pro.
no pro. We're not
Alright,
pro.
the collegiate
no
player. Or you're practically pro. Today's video is brought to us by TT Racing. I like stats. I like min maxing. I like efficiency. And if you've been a fan of my analysis, you know that I love it when players make the most out of their in-game resources. Like how Dreadnought armor or steel leg plates, nice item in Mobile Legends in the early game, specifically. And if you're looking for the best bang for your buck, the most efficient usage of your money when getting a gaming chair, there's no question, TT Racing is for you. I've tried it for a month now, and I can say that in its price range, it's the best gaming chair when it comes to comfortability and its build quality. On the plus side, you have tons of cool designs that gamers will love, like Marvel, Star Wars, anime such as Jujutsu Kaisen. Come on. There's a selection of different choices for upholstery with top quality neck and lumbar pillows, which we love all the time. 4D adjustable armrests. Okay, I don't know if you can see it, but it's here. It will be perfect for your personalized setup. The height, obviously, the distance from the table, that matters a lot. Full 155-degree recline feature for when gaming sessions become longer and longer, and locking casters with stable 360-degree movement. Again, designed for your comfort. So if you want the best bang for your buck, TT Racing gaming chairs and ergo chairs are best for you. By the way, I love their ergo chairs. Love the fact that you can lift up the armrest, which is perfect for me from when I play the guitar or play the drums or do other stuff that, specific stuff to do. Ergo chairs are perfect. So I want you to check that out. They're great. So since you spent your time listening to me now, interrupting this episode, we'd give you a sweet deal, all right? So use my code WOLF2000 for 2,000 pesos discount for every purchase through the online store. Now, I will flash the link. Also, link it in this video's description, and I hope that you check them out. I promise you, I've tried this for a month, and I've tried other gaming chairs as well. I think that this is probably the best quality of gaming chairs that you can get for its price range. No cap. Really, just no cap. That's it. Thank you so much. Yeah, you're obviously top 1% of the Filipino players when it comes to like playing the game because you're 1,200 stars, right? So not a lot of people get to that level, which means that you can actually play the game and with a mastery that is back then unprecedented because nobody from the casting pool was able to reach 1,000 stars or points back then because it's just impossible for us because we were doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you were already working.
We were already working. But then again, even when I think that even I myself, if I had the time, I probably will not get to 1,200 stars because I'm overly analytic about the game. So I might just overthink it. And I'm not. And again, dude, I can only play Uranus, right? I'm not. My hands are so slow right now, right? So, I will never reach that level. And you reached that level while you were doing all this stuff, and you're from Ateneo. It's like, how did that happen, Briggs?
Well, to
How
be
did that
fair,
happen?
I was actually browsing my messages the other day in preparation for a talk I did in a certain university here in the Philippines. And then I just kind of like stumbled upon this one exchange between me and one of my former classmates in high school. Her name was Frankie. And then her message went like, Bree, 9 p.m. MOBA with Lourdes. Because like MOBA was the term we used back then for MLBB. It wasn't like ML at the time. For us, I don't know. But MOBA, I eventually realized was a more general term. So I stopped using it. And then I found it so funny because that was in 2017. So it meant
2017.
No, but I think that was the Rafaela era of mine.
Oh my god.
The Rafaela damage build era, by the way. I don't know. But that was so way back then.
You played MLBB earlier than us.
Really?
It started 2017, like late April 2017 for me.
Oh no, I mean maybe I was later, like months later.
Okay. How old were you back then, dude? Like,
grade 8 or 9? I'm not
what's
sure.
that? What's grade 8? No, that's like 17. No, like 16 years old.
Yeah, I think around that age. But I was just starting, so I didn't know like the intricacies of the game just yet. I just kept playing.
Okay. And then you got good after how many years?
Not until I reached college, I guess, or no, senior high maybe. Maybe senior high school.
Okay.
No, but I only reached Mythic when I was in college.
Is this like solo or like 5-man queue?
At the beginning, it was like solo, but
Yeah.
the 5-man queues happened in college. So
What was the highest rank that you reached playing solo or like duo? Yeah.
maybe Grandmaster.
Oh,
I think.
okay.
No, that was like in 20.
Yeah. That's crazy. But then there's this argument where people say that you only get to eye level because you got carried by your good teammates whatsoever. I would say though that you will, at this stage in Mobile Legends, I don't think that it's enough for you to just get carried by your teammates. If you're bad at the game and you played with good people, you will eventually drag the good people down, and then you will not get get enough stars. That's what I felt. So I think that argument is thrown out the window, especially because for you, I would say you actually are good at the game. You actually know the game, right? Is there any game that you played before that?
No, not before. In between.
Okay.
Like when I kind of got burned out, I guess, of playing alone or playing at most duo with my friend. I tried and got addicted to Rules of Survival in between, but it's gone now. So bye bye.
Wait. Girl from Ateneo plays Rules of Survival. Are you kidding me? I mean, nothing against the Rules of Survival people, but come on.
Why? What's with Rules of Survival? It's fun.
Your sister's laughing. Are you cringing right now that he plays Rules of Survival? Or does she play? Does she play with you?
No. She plays Roblox.
With Capra. Oh my god, you play Rules of Survival? No way.
I reached the highest rank, I think.
No way.
Why? What's with... I don't get it. Is there something about Rules of Survival that I don't know or what?
Yeah. Again, I don't mean to offend anyone who plays Rules of Survival.
You don't like it?
I casted Rules of Survival.
Oh!
I know the demographic, like, you know.
Oh.
I would never imagine an Atenista playing Rules of Survival. That's...
Oh. Well, I wasn't an Atenista when I was playing. I wasn't an Atenista yet.
Okay. All right. But you're obviously good at video games, at I guess mobile games. Yeah, you like it. When was the time that you thought that you are actually good at the game? Like, you know, like, wow, I can actually do this. I can become a collegiate player, a level player.
I guess because before I entered college and before I joined our org or applied for the player role, I had a team like before even getting into college, and I was this is so funny for me because like I was the jungler of the team, but
Wow.
that was the era when you can put one in the jungle.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was so long ago, and I think even what was that? The one once the Kaguras in the jungle. So
yeah. So that was season. Yeah, if that's one jungle, that's probably season 5 of MPL.
see, yeah. So it was around that time, and then I felt like, oh, if I'm in the jungler role and I'm the core because I didn't know
Yeah,
the
they
exact
call it core.
definitions.
They
We
call
just
it
called
core,
it
or
core.
funnel or
Yeah,
core
the
back then.
funnel. So I feel like, oh, maybe I can give it a shot or something.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I just applied for our org back then, and then I got in, but to team 2, not the main.
Second team, alright. Yeah, but eventually you became the main. But again, this is not like a all girls division, right? This is a
No,
mixed division, yeah. Because there's no like men's and women's division,
Especially back then.
especially back then. And this is important because I think it bears more weight now that you are in. You got in amongst all of the applicants, and that meant that you can actually play the game in a very high level. Like it's you just don't get in just because you're a girl, or like this girl's cute. Let's get her, like a muse whatsoever, because that was the bad practice before, obviously. And now things have changed. Now when did you want to become a shoutcaster? Like, all right, again, we're slowly dissecting this. The first part, you playing Mobile Legends is already an anomaly in the system, especially because you're a very studious student and you're from Ateneo, which is. Can I just say that I never thought that that I will ever meet like Atenista people or Atenistas that play Mobile Legends. That's just not a thing. Maybe Dota 2, yeah, sure. League of Legends, probably Valorant, yeah, probably Mobile Legends. Yeah, that's a big surprise for me. But I think it's more normal now, right?
Yes, it
It's
is.
super normal now. So then you became part of the organization. Again, big anomaly. Then you want to be a shoutcaster, even bigger anomaly. So, all right. So tell me about that. Like, when did you start wanting to become a shoutcaster?
For my degree, AB Communications, we didn't have summer classes. We call it intersession in Ateneo for like the first or after freshman year to
In between freshman year and sophomore year.
So I didn't have summer classes when most of my org mates, because my circle of friends at the time since I joined the org were my org mates. Since we weren't on site, so I just got to spend most of my
Right,
time.
because you were online. Yeah,
On
okay.
Discord with them playing or either having meetings and all that. So it kind of got to me that I was so free and that I didn't have anything to do during summer when in fact they had summer classes. And it's not just me not having anything to do during summer, it's also me not knowing what I wanted to do in the future.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I was starting to like look for possibilities here and there, and I was aware of MPL. Like I have this video of my dog who was just then a baby barking at Atemara because she was on the big TV. I think I forgot what season that was, but you had the couch setting.
That was
and
season 7.
Yeah, season. Oh, yes, because it was just shortly before the caster search was
That's right.
posted. So I was watching every now and then, and like that thought came into my mind of what if I try pursuing this, because it's in line with the only thing I do during my free time.
Yeah.
And then it's also somewhat related to my degree, and then suddenly the official
Caster
page
search,
posted the
yeah.
caster search. So I just took it as an opportunity or
I
like
see.
a sign that maybe I should
Okay.
give it a try.
So were you exposed to like even like sports broadcasts or not even
as
esports?
much. Not as much.
So just news, I guess.
Yeah, and our org like leaders sending it to me because they know that I'm considering a job in line
Yeah,
with
I see.
this. So
But okay, so it has to start from somewhere. Like for me, for example, it started with sports, and then
mm,
I did not want to be a sportscaster, but I am interested in sports anyways. And
mhm.
honestly, I don't ever want to be like when I started my life. I wanted to be an engineer. I never wanted to be a public figure or anything. I don't want to be known. I'm just a low key kind of guy. But I do
Ooh.
like talking, so I do like journalism. I considered job for radio broadcasting because that was a thing before, but I never really wanted to show my face. And then it started from there. Eventually, I eventually became shoutcaster, coach, whatsoever. Things start from just a spark of interest. I wonder what's your spark of interest was, because I still remember now. Thing that made me want to be a shoutcaster was
Mhm.
when Merlini, a shoutcaster for Dota 2, this is the international, he predicted a hero that was obviously, like she said, like, oh, this team's gonna pick Invoker, and back then that Invoker will never be considered by anyone to be picked up, but he predicted it, like, for example, it's at the first phase, and he
Yeah.
said, like, okay, the way I see this, eventually in the end they'll pick Invoker, and it's like it was I remember feeling a lot of, oh, obviously I'm amazed, but I guess the proper term is goosebumps, because that's what I felt. It's like, wow, how did he know that? And then from then on, I kept watching esports, and then I actually wanted to be a shoutcaster slash analyst. I don't even know that's called a shoutcaster back then. I called them commentators,
Yeah.
because I grew up in sports. So I said, like, I want to be a commentator for Dota 2 eventually, and then yeah, rest is history. So I wonder, in your case, what was that moment like? Did you watch anything, or you just like, yeah, I just wanted to make money out of the thing that I'm doing anyways? And
Yeah.
something. I think that's a valid reason, or valid drive for anyone, for any shoutcaster. But I wonder, in your case, what was that spark?
Oh. Initially, when you threw out the question, I thought it could go as far as me realizing that, because I took up STEM in senior high, and then I realized at the time that I'm not enjoying this. So I realized that I wanted it to have something to do with speaking. So that's when I decided to get into AB Com. But now that you mentioned yours, which is a lot more specific, it was probably when I was really becoming invested in my being a player. Now that I realize that probably my biggest reason as to why I wanted to get into the ecosystem, or maybe also because why I told you guys that I wanted to become an analyst, was because I really wanted to get better at what I do at playing, and like eventually being able to, like, my team at the time had such a special place in my heart that I really wanted us to get big, I guess.
So
So
it's more about your team. Yeah, that was your
yeah,
drive.
I think
That's
ever
interesting.
since, because like even when I already got into MPL and all that, a lot of times when I get opportunities to, or not even in MPL, just the mere fact that I'm recognized as a talent and I get invites every now and then, I'd always like, you guys want to watch? Or like I like want to
Wow, that's
share it
so
every
cool.
time, right?
To your original team.
Yeah.
So you're still very much in touch with them.
Somehow, but like the OG lineups already, like
Yeah. They're probably like what?
some are graduates like me.
They're probably like I don't know.
The other one's a caster too.
Yeah. They're probably inventing the medicine for cancer now, and like or probably like making good cars or good technology, whatever.
Yeah,
And here we are, shot casting Mobile Legends. Yeah, but yeah, that is cool, right? Because your drive is more about, I actually want my team to get better. It just so happened that shoutcasting is a possible way for you to
because
improve
like
in your game.
I think, despite me probably playing quote unquote good, I knew that there was so much more to learn,
Yeah.
and that these guys are the ones who know more about, or
Yeah.
like the most about the the game. So
Yeah.
it just eventually like. So it probably wasn't. No, I think it was just something that aligned. Everything just
Yeah. I
fell
get
into
what you
place.
mean. I get what you mean. It's just like it just made a lot of sense during that time to pursue shoutcasting because it's like you already are studying communications. You probably can speak properly. You're playing the game well enough. You have free time, right? So it's like, yeah, let's do it. And but did you actually want to become an analyst? Because one thing, this is my gripe, because you said that you wanted to be an analyst, but after then, every time that I see you, you're not actually an analyst. You either play by play or an anchor afterwards. But yeah, did you actually mean it when you said that you wanted to be an analyst back then?
I think I did, and to this day, I feel like I'm still chasing after that me wanting to fully consider myself as one
Mm-hmm.
or someone like who I can be proud of saying that yeah, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So because like I feel like part of me still thinks that yeah, I'm still one of the new guys.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
yeah.
probably still
There's a lot of you have to earn your stripes, as they say.
yeah.
Yeah. You had a very interesting trajectory from when you started in 2021 when you applied for Shoutcaster was very, uh, I guess, quiet for you because you were still studying anyways, but you were getting some Shoutcasting gigs, and then you eventually helped for season 2 of Shoutcast, the caster search. Then you were part of TMP, and then in a snap you got invited to MDL. You went back to back, and then now you're in MPL, and then eventually you get to M6, and now you're Snapdragon, and MSC as well. Like, okay, wow, that was it's like a very steady, slow, like low
Yes,
intensity,
it was slow.
and then it exponentially went up. You don't never know what will happen. That's just life. But I forgot what I was about to ask. And I think that I've been talking a lot here because I wanted to kind of set up the fact that I wanted people to know that whatever Briggs achieve right now, she deserves it because she had to go through a lot. But okay, do you remember shoutcasting in BGC with me, like late 2021?
Was this for I can't say?
I think there was a. I don't even remember what phone that was. Let's not say, but there was a phone brand. The OS6 was there.
Was that
did
with
cast-
Rob? What?
Yeah, I think that was with Rob too.
Mm.
So we did that gig, right?
I'm not sure if like both of us did it at the same time, but we were there.
We were there, right?
Yes.
Like, so I'm probably tripping, but yeah, we
But
did.
there was another one you referred me to, but that was online.
Yeah. Okay. So, because I don't know if this is a correct memory that I'm remembering, but back in 2021, you said that you were top Lunox, right? Was it Lunox or was it?
No, I think I just said it was either Lunox or Ruby. That was my main. But I had like matches, a lot of matches.
Yeah, but you have like at least you're like top global, right? Like hundreds, somewhere around hundreds or something.
I can't
But definitely
remember.
top in Philippines, right?
I can remember.
But
maybe.
very high MMR, right? Okay. So if you guys want some proof of how good Briggs was, I want you to watch the what's it called? Caster Cup?
What was?
What was that? Caster's
We
Cup?
lost that though.
But you were
I
carrying
was.
your team.
No, I was just Savior because Savior was like a safe option. If you lose the early end, then you get to
Yeah, you just-
defend.
So you had good KD. But yeah, if you want to watch, if you want a proof of how good Briggs was, watch the Caster Cup and then the WCG. Yeah, watch that. Watch that too.
WCG. I was a caster there though.
You weren't. No, were you not with?
No,
Auntie?
Auntie was the only one there.
Okay. So yeah, just watch MCC. And then, did you go to the show match versus Indonesia?
No.
Okay. Yeah, most of my memories of how good Brigida was playing was during the Santi era when we were doing like the what do we call that? Custom nights. Custom
Yeah, yeah,
nights.
yeah,
Yeah. Were you not playing there?
yeah. Not as much.
Not as much. Okay. But no, you were good.
It is.
Really? No, I don't remember you playing Lunox and Ruby.
Oh, I did.
Or maybe because I did not play it as much. Maybe it's just so happened that we were playing together.
Yeah.
Like
It's
that.
so funny. Our bad memory.
Yeah, because it's been a long time. That was 2022, maybe?
Yes.
Okay,
Maybe.
so that was a very long time, guys. But yeah. So if you just want proof of how good Briggs was, that's your proof.
Let's just play
Let's just play.
5v5 or 1v1. Just
You're still
kidding.
playing a lot right now, right?
Yeah, whatever.
What
I
role are you usually assigned to?
During the previous season, like previous season in ML, I mostly enjoyed doing gold. But like now, no more. It's mostly roam. I honestly forgot how to play mid lane. Like I always forget to clear the mid lane because I'm
You-
always somewhere else. So I just,
Oh, because it's playing gold is so different from playing roam. I mean, so different from playing mid. Because you used to be mid lane, and then I know Auntie is roamer. How good is Auntie now playing? Like, who's better?
better?
Like between
Definitely Andy.
Okay, all right.
He's got higher points too overall, and he was the mainstay because ever since I transitioned to casting, or no, ever since I started casting, I eventually started to transition into a more managerial role
Yeah.
in our team.
That's the thing. When you become a caster, you have
You lose time.
you lose time playing. That's why I'm still amazed by Burrito at this
Yes,
point. Like,
yes.
and Midnight too, because I think he's also high points. So I remember he's looking at those guys, and because they just play a lot. Like how do you do it? Like I can't even like muster the energy to play anymore. No, it's not because we don't have time. Like there's so much to study. Like, or is it because we just like studying the game?
I think it's a common
Are we just
misunderstanding
nerds? Are
that
we just nerds?
it's not because we like don't get to play anymore that we don't like playing in general, or like we choose
Right.
not to. Like if I feel like if we really just had the chance, we would. But it's so different when you spend majority of your time already doing it.
Yeah,
And
I see. Wow, this is an epiphany. Like, because the thing is, I feel more adrenaline. Like, dude, this is gonna sound so nerdy of me, but
watching.
watching the game just discovering stuff and finding out that eureka moment is such a big high. I guess
Yeah.
Do you feel that way too?
Especially when I watch him.
Well,
Because he shares majority of the
No.
so this is how it is kind of stuff.
but yeah, no, like it's like discovering stuff is euphoric. Wow. Wow. Yeah, it's euphoric. That's why like studying the game is like we spend more time studying the game. Yeah. Anyways, eventually you became part of. You said you were now on a more managerial role. Are you still doing that for?
Not anymore. But like every now and then, since I still know some people from the
Oh, because you
current
already
line.
graduated. I'm
Yes.
So stupid.
No, at least
Yeah.
at least it feels like you think I'm.
Yeah, it's still
So-
part of it. Yeah. So,
Just kidding.
anyways, guys, after when she stopped playing for the organization, which is called
Loyola Gaming.
Loyola Gaming, LG. So Loyola Game after that she took more of a managerial role. So you were a student, graduating student, I guess, in your senior year. You were shoutcasting for MDL. Yeah. And then you are now managing the team. Right.
Before. Yeah. That's the fun part. Like every after discovering something at work, you get to watch their scrims or share it with them.
Oh.
Right? Because like scrims are usually for students, you have to be at night. It can't be in
obviously.
the day because they have school.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Okay. I did not realize that because that's cool. Like you learn something from your from casting. With your you see MDL people doing this, and then you apply it to your game, and then it's like, it's pretty cool. And then you eventually graduated from AB Communications. And by the way,
I know what he's gonna say.
Latin honors. Wow. This girl, right? Graduated from the Big Three, a scholar, while doing MDL stuff, while doing org stuff, or organization stuff, right? Like a lot of extracurricular activities. And she still managed to become a magna cum laude.
Hey, not Magna. Let's just say Latin honors.
Latin honors. One of the three. One of the three. So you get to choose, right?
Yeah.
Latin honors. All right. Just so you know. All right. Maintaining a passing grade in Ateneo, no matter what the course or the program is, because people will say like, that's ABCom, yeah, you can broadly. That's not engineering. That's not true. It's difficult, even more difficult because sometimes it gets so subjective, right? So, right? Yeah, you get the meaning. So, dude, like, how do you, like, all right, Latin honors is like 1 point. That's about. You have to maintain 87%.
Yeah. In Ateneo, it's the opposite. So it's like it should be 3 to 4.
3 to 4, which is like 87%. Like if you compare it,
3.5 up. I think it's 3.5 to 4. It should be 3.5 to 4.
see, 3.5 is like that's
Cumulative.
Like, yeah. I mean, like if you compare that to like from a scale of 0 to 100, that's about 87. If I'm remembering it correctly.
Maybe because I'm not a numbers guy.
Yeah, but somewhere else, maybe just comment below. Because I think that in Mapua you have to be 87.5 average for you to have Latin honors, if I'm not mistaken. And the thing is, that's that's just the passing rate. I think
87 is the passing rate.
No, that's 1.75. Passing rate for scholars. Yeah. So that's the maintaining grade for scholars is 87.5.
Okay.
Right. Because that was also our maintaining grade in our in high school let's say their maintaining grade. Wow. So yeah. How did you do that? How is someone who is shoutcasting? By the way, MDL is held during school, usually weekdays.
Yes, it is during weekdays.
And you have to study afterwards for MDL because you cannot be unprepared for MDL. And then you're playing a lot of games, obviously, because you need to study the game whatsoever. Then you're managing your LG team. And you're also popular, so you have to maintain your social media. How the hell did you graduate with Latin honors? What is wrong with you?
Why is the question? What is wrong with me?
How did you do that?
Okay, it's just really probably because I really liked what I was doing. Because I don't think any normal. So what am I saying? I'm not normal? No, but like any other person would handle doing so much if he or she doesn't really enjoy or like it.
Okay.
Because
that's fair.
To me, I guess I just really wanted to make it work. Wolf said it earlier that my trajectory was rather slow.
At the start, yeah.
It wasn't like after Caster Search I got to land the Moonton Sanction tournament immediately. The first was MWI, that was in 2022 January, and then MDL happened later that year. So that's when I really got to get in to the tournaments, and I just really wanted to like maintain everything, and it was a struggle since I didn't want to be like half baked for either of the two.
Yeah,
I
I
wanted to
see.
maintain my school and I wanted to
I
do good in
see.
MDL. So you just, I guess you just find yourself making things work and managing your time really well if you know your priorities and you just want to do good.
So if you're saying that if you're well driven, if you're purpose driven, uh, it it becomes possible. Like
It becomes
and obviously it's a difficult scenario. I wonder how your sleep schedule was.
8 hours.
Eight-
Just kidding.
No way.
But I can't sleep less than 6 or 7 to 8 hours up to now.
Were you still all right? Back in 2022, are you still doing online classes back then?
We were transitioning, so we were hybrid. There were
Hybrid,
on-site
alright.
and there were online
I guess
classes.
it's sort of more doable because I
It
can't
is.
imagine back in my day doing that. Well, I do. I can actually. It's just like
You can.
how much coffee and Red Bull are you willing to drink, and how
No.
much sleep are you willing to sacrifice in order to get to that? No, yeah, I guess
You just manage it.
you just have to manage
You-
it. Yeah, at the end of
you-
the day.
You enlist for morning classes, so you make room for MDL in the afternoon.
Right.
You can have afternoon classes, but they have to be online.
Yeah. You just have to be smart.
You
about
just have
it.
to be resourceful.
Smart and resourceful. I like it. All right. So, wow, that's great. And congratulations. Because of that, now you've reached heights that you probably did not realize that you will be able to reach. Right. So, how was that transition from MDL to MPL? Because it's totally different. And MDL is a dual cast setup. It's entirely online, and then when you get to MPL, you started. I think you just had a few series back in season 12.
And 11.
And
No, I
11.
think only one series in season 11.
All the one series in season 11, because that was part of the exchange program
Yeah, the
whatsoever.
first one.
And then season 12, I remember you had more.
I had more.
You already part of the roster? in season
I
12?
wasn't.
But you just had more in season 12. That was also the season where we get to cast together. That was the one. Yeah, you're smiling. Because this was, you mentioned this at the start of the podcast, that quote unquote mistake. And you beat yourself up so much during that time. No, did we scold? We did not scold you, right?
No.
I think we were even cheering you up afterwards.
Because I was crying.
Yes,
Like,
you were
who would
crying.
even
Yeah.
say something that'll make it worse?
Yeah.
But no, but yeah, it was season 12 when
Season
it
12.
happened.
Yeah. Okay. So just to give context, guys, and since it's been a long time,
It
right?
has been a long time.
Season 12, Briggs was given the chance to get to the playoffs. And again, for anyone who you probably don't know about this, but for shoutcasters, especially for starting shoutcasters, getting into the playoffs or being part of the playoffs crew is such a big deal. And if you want, you can actually watch my podcast with Chantel, because there's a segment there where we actually talked about just being part of the playoffs is also very important. So that was obviously very big for Brigida. And then she mentioned something like,
I made the wrong call for like
okay,
the team who won getting into or being one of the M5 representatives already, but when in fact it was the storyline for the series prior that.
yeah, I
It
see.
just carried over because Hans got bulutong that day and I had to sub in for him,
Yeah.
right? So it's-
Yeah, I actually forgot about that part.
what's
You were not
bulutong in English though?
miso,
Measles?
chicken pox,
Chicken pox. Something along those lines.
Yeah, bulutong. You're right. Yeah, just comment out there. Okay, so very sad. He had a nickname because of that. Something like that in a group chat. So you weren't supposed to cast that series.
No, the series before that I wasn't supposed to.
I see.
And that was Anchor.
So it's like you're practically not prepared for that, obviously, because you're not supposed to. So it's just obviously there's a lot of pressure for you. That's why you made the wrong call, and you already I remember that moment because you yourself realized that you said something wrong right after you said that.
I was looking at you guys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we acted normal. I think we handled it well. I think it was Chantel, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
We took
Uh,
it back right after, but
yeah.
what's done is done.
And obviously, people in all of those bashers and haters, those keyboard warriors, you guys suck. That's what I'm saying, right? You don't. Of course, we know that we have to do a great job, but come on, like the things that you said, right? Unwarranted. All I'm saying. Anyways, that was obviously a big learning lesson for you, but I wonder, like, because you were obviously crying a lot afterwards, and everybody was consoling you. I don't think that you got it. Like you didn't like actually get into trouble because of that, right? Were you like fined or anything?
No,
Not really.
surprisingly enough, even Blacklist posted like a video on their page. Because I was once an intern for them, right? And then they were like protecting me and all that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they themselves were okay with it.
And Blacklist eventually get it because I think you
They
said
did
that
get it eventually.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's like
I mean, I
Come
somehow
on.
made the.
she's
No.
actually right. She was just advanced.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah. And
You can't even like describe it into words, right?
No.
Not even in Tagalog, right? Even if I ask you in Tagalog, it's still hard to describe, right?
I mean, I took full accountability and I didn't.
Yeah.
I no longer. I know I'm a quiet person, but I no longer explained myself on social media because I don't think that would like do any of
For sure.
help. And
Good.
all I
That's-
just did was apologize because it was
Yeah.
still a winning moment that
Yeah.
was sacrificed for that. So yeah, that's what I did. And
Yeah.
thankfully, a lot of people they know it's just a harmless mistake, but for some, it's just like below the
Yeah.
belt. But I get it. It happens. But why?
I think it's just it was Blacklist, and Blacklist is like the fan base is huge.
It's huge.
And I always say of the cam that the bigger the fan base, the more chances of ill-advised fans, because it's like the more people that the bigger the brand grows, or the bigger the community grows, the more good people and more bad people appear. It's just how it is. It's just volumes, just, dealing in volumes. What did you do to eventually prepare yourself for the next shotcast, so that you won't be able to make that mistake again?
I was just probably more aware. Like, I know it was an isolated case because I had to keep in mind the two roles I was doing on the same day, and I had to digest everything for the anchor role on that same day. It just so happened that I got to carry over the entire storyline,
Yeah.
even as a playback. So it was clearly just my mistake. So part of it was just really conditioning myself prior every single cast, and it just naturally happens along the way. I just overcome it eventually.
Okay.
But it was a major experience for me, really, and I don't think I'd ever want to go through that again.
Yeah.
So I will do everything in my power to
Yeah.
not make a mistake.
Yeah. With all due fairness, after that, you still got season 13, right? You still got season 14, and you eventually get to where you're at now. And you said that you were far more prepared. But then big challenges happen, like, you said in M6, pressure started to kick in once again. I wonder what's the main hurdle now for you as a shoutcaster? What's the next big challenge now? Because you've overcome making the mistakes or making those harmless mistakes. You're now more comfortable doing what you're doing. You're doing more play by play now. You're doing English and Tagalog. Hell, you even started doing panel hosting, which I'm very proud of because I don't think that you were also prepared for that too. I don't think that you've ever panel hosted before or prior to that. So and you did a great job, which is I'm very happy watching you. We were watching you guys, and yep, had a was a very nice gig for you too. So yeah. So what are the challenges now for you?
I guess finding or realizing what my strengths actually are and trying to develop them further because you mentioned it. I've been jumping everywhere, like be it on Filipino or the English broadcast, and then now that I'm fixed in the English broadcast, I tend to jump between the anchor, PBP, and analyst roles too. So
Yeah.
now that I'm in a new environment, that in itself is something I have to develop further. I see so much room for growth personally
Yeah.
in terms of how I'm able to cast in English, but it's another struggle for me, I guess, to figure out what role do I want to really focus on in English, because being flexible in its own way is a great thing to have, but I also want something that I can really be proud of and really
Yeah.
confident in myself of doing, something that I know is what I like doing best when I'm on the desk, what I
Yeah.
like doing best when I'm outside the desk and all that, because I don't think I have that figured out up to now.
Yeah. So it's like in Mobile Legends, right? If you play all the roles, yeah, sure,
You're a multi-role,
you're a
yeah,
multi-role.
okay.
Everybody wants to play with you. Everybody will invite you, but eventually, you're not gonna get good at just one. It's gonna be nice to focus on one thing, right? So you have the rest of your life to figure that out, Briggs. Good luck.
Thank you.
So far, right now, like, I think that every day we'll have a different answer for this.
Mhm.
But today, I wonder what's your most favorite thing to do right now? Do you want, like, today, what what do you like most? Anchor, play-by-play, or analyst?
Mm.
Obviously, this will change, right?
Yes.
Like maybe a month from now, you want something else entirely. But at least today, like, what did you appreciate the most, and what are you most? What role do you enjoy the most?
Probably for now, I'd say it's just between anchor or analyst.
Okay, not play-by-play.
Like not now that
Okay.
I'm in English, not play by play
Yeah,
for
it's
now.
difficult.
Yeah. So I mean, I did get to do some play by plays, but it's
Yeah.
not for me now.
Not now, not yet, not yet. Yeah. Okay. Now that it just sucks that when you flew to Malaysia for SBS, you did not get to see the crowd, but you were there. You did cast M6 playoffs, right? So you were in Axiata, or
For playoffs, no, we were already done. Igan and I
Ah,
were done.
but
with
but you
playoffs.
did go to the
Yes, I did
venue.
go to Axiata.
So I was gonna ask this, like, how is the crowd different from the Filipino crowd, I guess? Were you there in M5? Did you watch M5? All right, so at least you have some comparisons, because I feel like it's always magical for a shoutcaster to go to another country and observe the culture and be that minority and just appreciate everything around you and just feel the esports vibe. It's always magical in a moment. You always do your comparisons. When I went to M1, I said, okay, Malaysians are better than Filipinos. When I went to Jakarta, oh wow, Jakarta people are better than Filipinos. When I went to Singapore for M3, I said, wow, Singaporeans are so passionate. But then I go back to M5 and I said, wow, all right, Filipinos are actually really good. Right? It's like always magical, like traveling between these countries. But yeah, I wonder how you felt when you've seen the Malaysian crowd in M6. Compare that to M5, obviously.
I was surprised. I mean, I've seen SPS online, and I already know that even with the PH versus PH finals, the crowd was very supportive, and
Yeah.
it was packed. I think that was then FCAP and Team Liquid Philippines, right? And then it was in Quill City Mall. I remember seeing the mall even past closing hours.
Oh, the
still
first
be-
one, yeah, this is APAC.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
one. Why do I keep hitting the
It's
mic?
alright.
I'm sorry. Anyway, but so I already had an idea that the Malaysian crowd was very active.
Yeah.
But seeing them in Axiata filling the entire stadium almost, and that was like such a huge stadium. I remember struggling to find or not even being able to find the seat in the like the first floor at all. We just had to sit in front of Chantel and Delor, who were already in the first row, so you can't
Yeah.
see us on camera because we were
That's
on the
why,
floor.
that's why.
It was that packed in Axiata, and
Yeah.
it was amazing since I was there as a viewer already too, so I could like go all out and wear my
Yeah, so-
jersey and scream, and it'd be okay.
Right. Even a better experience, right? But that must be nice for you to feel like, oh, okay, wait, let me remember. During the group stages, you had
Yeah.
viewers, right?
Yes, we did. They were behind us, but it was inside IOI. It was at the topmost floor, so it was a smaller venue, but it was big. But it was way smaller compared to Axiata. Axiata was huge.
it's
It
like
had
Mo Arena.
floors. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was so shocking. Yeah.
Yeah. And shocking in a good way, obviously. Yeah. So, it makes me think, what's the, like, in comparison, like, how would you describe Malaysian crowd versus the Filipino crowd?
Malaysian crowd versus Filipino. I don't know. I think for the Malaysian crowd, it's nice to see that their support probably stems from pure enjoyment and appreciation of what they see. Because during the grand finals, especially, there was no Malaysian team.
Yeah, yeah.
It was Onyx and TLID, but you could feel the energy and the support from each side as
Yeah.
if they're cheering for their own. In the Philippines, I guess it's more biased in general. Like,
It's like,
it's
They-
more towards our own teams.
okay, all right. So,
That-
like,
yeah.
okay, I see.
I know we clap during M5. We do clap for teams, especially those with Filipinos, but it
Yeah.
happens after. Like, because during it's always
Ah.
towards the Filipino teams. In my experience, because that's
Okay.
what I observed back in M5, right? Even when, let's say, it was the finals and Kyrie cried, and the Filipinos were
Yeah.
supportive, but
Yeah, I see. I get what you mean. Like it's like it's because I remember back in M4, it was way quieter when Arky was still there, at least.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so M4 was Filipino PH versus PH. It was way quieter than when there was an Indonesian crowd. But now in Malaysia, in M6, even when there's no Malaysian team, they were still very supportive. Okay, that's an interesting insight. We're not comparing. I just wanted to paint a picture of what felt like because I wasn't there. I'm curious how it felt. Overall, how do you feel about your career right now? That for where you're at right now, how does it feel to be Brigida?
How does it feel? I guess for me, it's always I'm just always ever grateful for like whatever comes my way. Just very appreciative in general, and it's like there's for me there's always something more out there. So it's like it's a never ending process of really learning
Okay.
and growing, and I don't think I'll ever want to set the ceiling for myself because I don't think it ever works that way. You will or I will always and always find things to work on, and I think it's a really great mindset I've had ever since, because I tend to look at things very optimistically
Yeah.
regardless of the situation. So
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't like become a
Yeah.
bad thing down the road, but to me it's really that. And the only problem I'll probably get out of it is if it hinders my confidence
Okay.
and limits me in terms of just being able to do what I think I'm able to do. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't think that. Yeah, limitations are